Hello guys, welcome to the channel and welcome to the very last film in our Peter Cushing week. We've already looked at a classic Hammer film called The Revenge of Frankenstein, which was the follow-up to The Curse of Frankenstein, and then we looked at an Amicus film called From Beyond the Grave. So tonight we're returning back to Hammer films for the last one, and it's called Fear in the Night. Now this is a 1970s horror film, and it's about a young woman called Peggy, who's played by Judy Geeson, is it? Yeah, she stars in it, and she's got a new husband who's played by Ralph Bates, and he's a teacher at this so-called school, and she is staying at some flat in London, but she's going to be moving up to this private sort of school where the husband works. But the night before, when she's packing, she's talking to her landlady and stuff like that. She gets attacked by our attacker, and he's dressed like a giallo sort of killer. He's got the black glove and the black coats on and all this, and he's trying to strangle her at her flat, and she sort of fights back and she pulls his arm and it comes off. He's got a prosthetic of false arm which lands on the floor, and then he sort of runs and escapes off. And then we see the doctor arrive, and he's quite a famous actor. I don't know his name, but he's been in so many things. Been in loads of comedy programs in the 70s. He's been in 40 Towers. He's also been in Some Others Do Have 'Em and things like that. And I recognise him from quite a few stuff on British television. He's a very famous British actor, and he's wonderful as the Doctor. He is talking to her, and we keep clips of her back with a psychiatrist. Apparently, she was under a psychiatrist for like hallucinations and depression and all this sort of thing some time ago, but now she seems to have recovered from it and is now married to Ralph Bates' character. Anyway, they trying to convince her that this is down to her being unwell and that she wasn't attacked. She's imagining it, but we obviously see that she has been. And then she's off on her trip. This is all filmed in Hertfordshire in the UK, around the sort of Watford area and stuff like that. You can see a lot of recognisable places in Hertfordshire in this. And they're off on their trip and to the new school in the car. And she's quite positive and looking forward to it. It's this new sort of start. Obviously, like I said, she's had mental health issues and stuff like this. And then she arrives at this private school, which is a beautiful looking sort of building with like this sort of typical medieval looking, with the black beams with the white sort of stone, and the thatched roof, and she's been moving into a cottage next to the school. And Ralph Bates shows her around the school. It's very clean, very tidy, very nice and neat, and there's not a mark on the floor, nothing. And she's straight away thinking, this is a bit strange, because where's the dirt? And this is all filmed supposedly in the school holidays, so there's no children there. It's supposed to be in the school holidays. And she's been shown around, and she likes the school and she likes the cottage. And then Ralph talks to her about Mr. and Mrs. Michael Carmichael, and his wife, who's the headmaster of the school, who's played by Peter Cushing. And he calls up and wants to meet and stuff like that, but she's not ready yet. She goes, we'll meet them tomorrow, whatever. Anyway, the next day, Ralph Bates has got to go off to London in his car, so off he goes. And Peggy starts to explore the school and look around, and she goes into the dining room where it's all made up with cups and glasses and plates, and she sees a big sort of portrait on the wall of the headmaster and all this, and she sees that someone's been in there eating, and she starts hearing sort of things around the school. She starts to hear children singing and stuff like this, and talking, and teachers talking to them, and things like this, all crazy stuff going on. And when she dreams at night times, she reimagines this killer. And when they move to the cottage, she thinks, when she looks out the window, she can see someone looking back at her. So she's got all this thing going on. And they're trying to convince her that this is her hallucination and imagination. Anyway, one day when she's walking around the school having a visit while Ralph Bates away, she bumps into, finally, our headmaster about sort of like half an hour, 40 minutes into the film. And that's where we get to meet Peter Cushing playing Michael Carmichael. And he comes across as a gentle sort of headmaster, and he starts showing her around the school. And he acts a little bit weird round her because he's saying how he keeps telling her how pretty she is and how he'd like her to have her hair down. And he tries to help her take her hairband off, and this is where we notice he has a false arm. And she notices this, and then she distrusts him. And then we meet when another day when she's out walking the grounds with Ralph Bates. He goes off, and then we meet Mrs. Carmichael, played by Joan Collins, as she shoots this rabbit. And first of all, she thinks Peggy's an intruder, but then realises that it's Ralph Bates' wife, and then she's all friendly. And all this sort of weird stuff going on. And you're left thinking, what is actually going on? Is she imagining it? Or is Peter Cushing our stalker? We don't know. Well, I know, because you need to watch it and find out. I'm not going to tell you any more of the plot. It's an amazing film. It's really cool. To me, it does play out a little bit like a giallo, except without the sort of kills. There's romance in it. There's a hidden killer or a hidden stalker that we don't really see. There are some deaths that happen later in the film. And it also plays out like a psychiatric sort of horror film, because it all sort of plays out like, is she really in a school? You know, how comes there is no pupils around? How comes there's no other staff around? You know, it's one of those sort of films that you question yourself while you're watching it. Now, it's absolutely amazingly acted. Judy's fantastic as Peggy. She's really cool. And Ralph Bates he's always good in Hammer films. He's been in quite a few Hammer films, including Taste the Blood of Dracula and Dr. Jekyll and Mrs. Hyde. He's been in a number of these horror films of Hammer. He was used quite a lot. And of course, Peter Cushing is once again, his screen presence is outstanding. He's so believable, this mild-mannered sort of headmaster with a sort of very strange and evil, wicked way behind him in his head that you can sort of work out. Or is he? And Joan Collins is wonderful in the film. She looks stunning, but Judy's absolutely beautiful in this film. Yeah, but they both look absolutely stunning, and they're really, really cool throughout the films, and the way the film plays out to this sort of surprising of an end, it's wow, cool. I saw that sort of coming, but I didn't think it was, but it did, and it's such a good ending to the film. I'm going to score this an amazing watch and give it a 9 out of 10. It's a really good Hammer film. It's obviously one of the latter years of the horror of the Hammer films of that period. Obviously, Hammer are still around making films now, but they don't make the vast amount they were making. But this is nearer the end of that sort of period. And it's a wonderful, wonderful film. It's like a a completely different environment and different take of horror that they haven't done before. I still think they've been influenced by European horror because there is a sense of French horror in this and a French of Italian horror. Like I said, especially around the giallo sort of way. But it's very, very cool. It's almost like they've been watching other films. It's also got a big sort of influence by Peter Walker in it. If you've seen films like uh, Whipcord and things like that of his films that I have reviewed on my channel, but I've forgotten already. But it's very sort of similar to that, and I think there must have been watching and been influenced by films of that period, and it shows in this Hammer film. But it's wonderful. Fear in the Night, 9 out of 10. Any of you guys seen it? If you have, let me know down below. This again, Peter Cushing is not the main star in the film. He is a co-star in the film, but his presence in it is so good and strong that it's a Peter Cushing film. And that's what I love about him and the way he is, because he doesn't need, like I told you in the last one, he doesn't need to be the major role, the major star. He has that presence to turn it into a Peter Cushing film by the way he is. And he does exactly the same in this. Guys, thank you so much for joining us in this Peter Cushing week. I think hope you've enjoyed the 3 films we've looked at. And join us again for another one. There's a few more sort of specialist weeks I'd like to do. I would like to do a Hammer week, and I would like to do a film noir week, because I rarely visit that genre of film, which I love. Now, if you don't know what film noir is, it's films that are made in the 40s and 50s and based on sort of like the way life was then post-war, and they are very they were sort of like the first time that film really got into crime and detective sort of films and those sort of things, and so it created its own sort of genre called film noir, and they were generally filmed artistically in black and white with great casts. But we'll get onto that, and I'll explain some more about that. I'll probably do like a top 10 or top 5 of my favourite or recommendations if you want to check out some film noir sort of films. So we'll probably do that. And also I want to visit quite a few more of my shameless videos that I haven't got round to, and my huge, if you can see it down there, that's my watch pile. It's so big, and I've still got loads of 4Ks to get through. I want to do another 4K week, because not necessarily horror, but I do have some films that I really want to bring to the channel and look at. So keep your eyes out for them. Until then, please check out some other horror channels. Check out Horror Hands, The Horror Geek, Manview Film, RS Design, Pizzawell, I'm Icebill, Cat Watches Horror Movies, Grumpy Andrew's Haunted House, and The Maniac. And a massive shout out to my lad. Till next time, look after yourselves, look after one another, and I really hope I see you all soon.